Hey everybody, today we're talking about The Authority, Book 1. Hey everybody, and welcome back to BK's Bullets. As always, I'm your host, Brent, and today we're talking about The Authority, written by Warren Ellis and drawn by Bryan Hitch. Now, a couple caveats. This is a reprint of the original book that came out a long time ago. This is the new reprint, so you should be able to find this on bookstores, websites, in your local comic book shop, that sort of stuff. It did get reprinted because of the movie announcement in the Gunverse, so that is why we are here. You get the new DC logo. That's how you know it's new. It doesn't have a Wildstorm book or the old DC logo. Again, I'm not really sure when this original collection was printed. However, this does have some interesting stuff in here. I thought it was maybe just the Authority 1 through 12 because I have read those issues only. I do have a review of them up on the channel, but it also collects other stuff. Stuff from Wildstorm, Celebration of 25 Years. That's a more recent book, and Absolute Authority Volume 1. That is the oversized volume of Authority. Those are stuff is all collected in here also. So I guess it's not really a reprint. Maybe it's a little bit more. It's also got Planetary, the Authority, Ruling the World, #1. Stuff from that in here as well. So it's not just Bryan Hitch art. You've also got some other artists doing stuff in here. You got a nice little Grant Morrison introduction here. Phil Jimenez also providing some additional pencils, I guess, in that. Maybe it's probably the Planetary story. I was flipping through here before. But again, yeah, this is what put Bryan Hitch on the map. Let's face it. Bryan Hitch had a crater impact with the Ultimates with Mark Millar in the early 2000s, but this is what he was drawing right before then with Warren Ellis, and this is where widescreen comics got invented in the pages of The Authority. It got him the job on Ultimates, and then he carried it over to Ultimates, and comics were never the same after that. So if you want to read Bryan Hitch's origin story, I would say you could read it here. Of course, he didn't just start on The Authority. He had a short run prior to this on JLA with Mark Waid, Heaven's Ladder, that kind of stuff. But this is really where everybody started taking notice because you had this alternate universe and these kind of alternate takes on Batman and Superman. Of course, here this character is Midnighter, this character is Apollo. How are those guys going to be part of the DC universe in the movies? I have no idea. But just know when you're reading this book, Batman and Superman don't exist. You only have Midnighter and Apollo. And Midnighter is like the greatest fighter in the universe. He's got a trench coat instead of a cape. That's what makes him cool. You've also got characters like Jack Hawksmoor, this barefooted dude over here who talks to cities by walking on them because he's always barefoot. What was this character named? Jenny something. You got like a hot girl variant. You've got this other android girl back here. Again, it's been a while since I read this book. I read it on my iPad and I did a review of it way back then, so you can check that out in the channel, what I originally thought of it. But I'm interested to see how it reads in my hands, like in physical form. So yeah, here's some Phil Jimenez stuff in here. So this is the Planetary crossover because you've got these guys from Planetary, which is the John Cassaday series. Was it also written by Warren Ellis? Warren Ellis today not really working anymore because of some grooming accusations that came out against him. So he's kind of fallen off the face of the earth. So if you don't want to read that because of what he did or what we found out he did later on, that's fine. You should really just come for the Hitch art, honestly, for the start of widescreen comics from Wildstorm. This is the Jim Lee imprint that got started at Image and then got quickly bought up by DC. So these were originally published under DC Comics back in the day. There's a lot of bonus material back here. Some cover sketches for issue #1 by Bryan Hitch. Bryan Hitch never got better, honestly. Looking at this stuff, I think Paul Neary's doing the inks on him. He's a fantastic inker for Bryan Hitch. And this is before he got on Ultimates. I don't know how long this took to come out. Originally, this is before I started reading comics on like a monthly basis. But Paul Neary, Bryan Hitch, you can't go wrong with that combo. It looks phenomenal, honestly. Looks amazing. Bryan Hitch started to do his inking his own stuff as of more late, and I don't know if I really like him inking his own stuff compared to Paul Neary. Maybe that's nostalgia, it's whatever, but he is getting better. I would say Bryan Hitch inking his own stuff is getting better, but he, there's something about this style that just screams classic or screams quality. And it was the same thing. This is the same inking team he had on his JLA run, his Ultimates run, so maybe that's nostalgia talking. Maybe he would say something different if you asked him in person what he prefers, but you got to give it up to Paul Neary for making Bryan Hitch look like a superstar. I mean, look at this. I mean, literally, the widescreen comics thing comes from Bryan Hitch's propensity to use these full-width panels across the page that look like a movie frame. And that's kind of where it got started here in the Authority, and he carried it over to the Ultimates where everybody took notice, and that's where everybody got that style. Steve McNiven's kind of adopted that with New Avengers and his stuff. But yeah, if you flip through here, you'll notice a whole lot is widescreen, full width panels all the way through. So yeah, that's why people would say this has a really cinematic feel, because you got a lot of panels when they're drawn by Bryan Hitch, not Phil Jimenez, although he's kind of doing it here. Of course, there's the one page that doesn't have it. But yeah, a lot of panels are full width for you to get that full impact. So as such, it probably reads pretty fast, and the pacing would probably be pretty good also. There's 2 storylines in here. I believe the first one is like 1 through 8, and then there's 4 issues after that. Something like that. Maybe there's 3. I can't remember. But yeah. Interesting little book. Pick it up. It is $30 for issues 1 through 12 of the Authority run all the way through. And so if they do a book 2, a reprint of book 2, I will pick that up, because that is also interesting, because Warren Ellis hops off and Mark Miller hops on with a couple of other artists, including Frank Quitely, which is pretty interesting. There's a take on the Avengers versus this kind of alternate Justice League in there. So that could be a little bit of fun. But yeah, I hope they reprint book 2. That would be a lot of fun to read. But yeah, here's your overview of the Authority book 1, the new reprint out from DC Comics in celebration of the announcement of the new film coming from Warner Brothers and all that good stuff. But yeah, this is where to originally get it. Bryan Hitch, widescreen comics, started here. It's probably like 1998, 99, honestly. That's how far back this goes. Because I believe it was 97 is when he was on JLA. Let's see if it's... yeah, copyright 1999. There you go. And then I guess it was collected again in 2018. So there you have it. Anyways, thank you guys for watching this overview of the Authority. We'll see you guys next time in the Funny Pages.